of the 7th PWSMUN. We are honored to have with us today Brother Paplai, Brother Papview, and Sister Dao, our guests of honor for the closing ceremony.
Brother Lai is a senior Dhamma teacher in the tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh. He is originally from England and has been living in Plum Village since 2001, which is the monastery of Thich Nhat Hanh in France. Brother Lai travels extensively all around the globe, spreading the message of peace and love and guiding meditation retreats and seminars. Brother Bhu is a monk in the Buddhist tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh. He is originally from Italy and has been living in Plum Village since France since 2008, which is when he was ordained. Brother Bhu also travels around the world to offer meditation retreats and seminars.
Use the other mic. Just shift the other mic. Can't hear.
May we please request Dr. Sarvesh Naidu to present the token of honor to our respected guests, Brother Lai, Brother Bhu, and Sister Dao.
We're going to get can you get that coming?
I request the Secretary General to come up on the stage to present the token of honor to our guests.
We would also like to welcome our school executive director, Dr. Sarvesh Naidu, our senior school deputy principal, Mr. Supriyo Bhaume, and our middle school principal, Mr. Sumit Argun.
For the first performance of the afternoon, I would like to introduce a dance called Jati Swaram. The message of Jati Swaram is beauty. It is pure Nritya item. Thus, Anga Shuddha, which means proper postures and movements in combination with flow of melody and rhythm, evokes a sense of harmony and joy in the hearts of spectators. It will be performed by Jhanak Zaidev.
Bye.
a photographer can sit, otherwise you're going to block it. And the movement of the delegates is going to get affected. You might want to swap and move in, and you can sit down there. Now this is
Thank you for that wonderful performance. Any MUN would be incomplete without the delegates and the executive board. On behalf of the entire PWSMUN team, we would like to thank the executive board for steering the committee sessions for these 3 days, as well as all the schools for their participation. They have displayed exemplary leadership quality, collaboration, and their prompt ability to think quick during crisis and react appropriately. I'd like to call upon stage Ms. Loka Mudra, Ms. Rohini Chando, and our head of conference, Mayank Bajaj, to please hand over a memento and certificates of participation to the escort teacher for each participating school.
In no particular order, the Shishakunj International School, Indore.
Modi School, Lakshmangarh.
go a little faster, please.
The Sanskar Valley School, Bhopal.
The Shriram School, Mysore.
Maharani Gayatri Devi Girls Public School, Jaipur.
Pathway School, Noida.
Welham Boys School, Dehradun.
The Doon School, Dehradun.
Daily College, Indore.
Indian High School, Dubai.
The Lawrence School, Sanabar.
Mayo College Girls School, Ajmer.
Kasiga School, Dehradun.
Lancers International School, Gurudwara.
Now, we would like to acknowledge the members of the Executive Board. Gitanjali Kumar, Chair of IAEA.
Chair of DICEP.
Aditi Putran, Chair of UNHRC.
Chair of HCC.
Akriti Agarwal, Chair of UNGA.
Chair of UNSC.
Munib Riaz, Chair of AIPPN.
Chair of ECOSOC. Thank you, Ms. Lopamudra, Ms. Rohini Chandok, and Maya. Please go ahead.
It is always an essential part of any MUN to appreciate those delegates that stand out in each committee. This year, we have had delegates from 16 different schools, as well as individual delegates, all contributing to debate in their own unique ways. However, we would especially like to recognize those delegates who exemplified the principles of an MUN. They will be remembered for years in all MUN conferences to come for their commendable feats. We'd like to invite on stage our Secretary General, Kanishk Bansal, for the awards. Over to you, Kanishk.
I would like to invite on stage the guests of honor, Brother Lai and Brother Biu, along with Deputy Principal of Senior School, Mr. Supriyo Bhaumik, and Middle School Principal, Mr. Sumit Dagan, to present the first set of awards. Can we please have Mr. Biscuit? I will now request Ms. Gitanjali Kumar, the Chair of IAEA, to please come up on stage to announce the awards.
I would like to congratulate all the delegates who are a part of PWSMUN 2017. A big round of applause for yourselves, guys. It was a pleasure chairing the IAEA and being a part of a committee that discussed imminent issues like nuclear energy and warfare. Throughout the course of the event, I was impressed with the committee and their stimulating lobbying abilities and debates. Before moving on to the awards, I would like to thank my Vice Chair, Rapporteur and Logistics team for their constant support during the sessions, and a big shout out to my committee for passing the draft resolution. I will now be announcing the winners. Best delegate goes to the delegate of France. Kushagrita from Mayo Girls School. High commendations go to Germany. Delegate of Germany. Republic of Korea. I would also like to give a special mention to the Republic of Korea. I would now like to call out the name of a few delegates whose performance was quite good in the MUN event. Delegate of Estonia, please stand up. Delegate of Thailand, Republic of China, Delegate of Egypt, thank you delegates, it was wonderful chairing the committee and I hope you take part in the next MUN as well.
The delegates wishing you all luck, and the ones winning the awards, we request you to please come on the dais and take your name and your school's name as you receive the awards. Moving on, I would like to now request Ms. PWSMUN, the chair of Dissect, to please come on stage and announce the next set of awards.
the Executive Board. Before we move on, I would just like the delegates of DISEC to please stand up in their places, and if we could have a round of applause for them, please. Thank you so much, delegates. Please have a seat. Over the last 3 days, we witnessed some brilliant discussions. The delegates also participated in some activities such as the Delegate of Me and the country-specific committee reports. We at Manwal India believe in innovation, and we are extremely grateful for Pathways World School for having incorporated these activities in the PWSMUN. I would like to appreciate all the delegates of the DISEC committee. We witnessed some brilliant discussions. The draft resolution was passed unanimously, which shows the collaborative problem-solving abilities and the unity of the entire committee. I was also extremely glad to have such a brilliant vice chair and rapporteur. Thank you so much for your excellent work. Now moving on to the awards, it was definitely not an easy task, but if you as a delegate walk out of here having learned a couple of new things, you're walking out of here as a winner. So please clap for yourselves. So without any further ado, the verbal mentions go to the delegate of USA. Please stand on your feet. The delegate of Tajikistan. The delegate of Colombia, the delegate of Kyrgyzstan, the delegate of Iraq, the delegate of UK, and finally the delegate of Madagascar. Thank you so much, delegates. Alright, moving on to the special mention. The special mention award goes to the delegate of Cuba. Please mention your name.
My name is Vignesh and I'm from IHS, Indian School, Dubai.
Thank you so much. The next special mention goes to the delegate of France.
Rohan from Pathways School, Gurgaon.
The first high commendation goes to the delegate of China.
Hello, I'm Mohan from Delhi College, and I thank my executive board for this. Thank you.
The next high commendation goes to the delegate of Afghanistan.
Hello, I'm Aditya from the Root School.
And finally, the Best Delegate Award goes to the delegate of Somalia.
From
I will now request Ms. Aditi Putran, the chair of UNHRC, to please come up on stage for the next set of awards.
Good afternoon, esteemed guests, teachers, delegates, and my colleagues. We live in an interesting world. We call ourselves free, independent citizens of the free world, yet most of us face discrimination everywhere we go, in whatever ecosystem we're put in. Women have won their right to education, but still haven't won their right to equal pay even today. We have refugees across the borders who are still unwelcomed in various countries. And after centuries of oppression through colonization, the rights of indigenous people have still gone unacknowledged. Our committee, the UNHRC, albeit a young one with nascent MUN experience, has still outdone itself in the discussion of cultural rights around the world with maturity, tact, and diplomatic prudence. As part of MUN World India, it is always my pleasure to meet such bright and exceptional students across the country and to mentor and coach them. I'm elated today because the UNHRC of Pathways World School MUN 2017 has managed to come together and design solutions and pass a resolution with unanimous votes. So a huge shout out to the UNHRC. So without much further delay, I'd like to move on to the awards. I request the delegates who win the verbal mention to kindly stand up in their seats and receive a round of appreciation. The first verbal mention goes to the delegate of Egypt. The next verbal mention goes to the delegate of the Netherlands. Moving on to the special mention, delegate of Portugal. Yes, delegate of Portugal, please approach.
My name is Harsh and I'm from Pathways.
Congratulations, Harsh. The next award is the High Commendation. So the UNHRC is giving out 2 High Commendations, and the first one goes to the delegate of Kyrgyzstan.
I'm Milan from the Noon School.
The next High Commendation Award goes to the delegate of USA.
I'm Vidya from Pathways Aradli.
Congratulations, delegate. And finally, the best delegate. Any guesses? Alright. The best delegate for the UNHRC of Pathways World School MUN 2017 goes to the delegate of Bolivia. Kanishk and your team, you have outdone yourself, so thank you very much for everything you've given us. And also a special shout out to my Vice Chair, Urvansh Baid, and Rapporteur Vasundhara JT. You have been exceptional executive board members, and I see you as one of the chairpersons in the future. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my member of logistics, Sarthak. He's done an exceptional job despite being down with fever for the past 2 days. And lastly, thank you. Lastly, it's been an honor to chair UNHRC at PWSMUN 2017. And signing off, I'd like to quote Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela gave us a very famous quote on freedom, and it was very relevant in our discussion of cultural rights in the UNHRC. He says that to be free does not mean to merely be cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the beautiful quote. May I now request Mr. Sumit Dargan and may I now request the principals to please take the seats, and the guest of honors, may you please remain on stage. I will now request Ms. Manjula Shenoy and Dr. Padma Naidu to please come on stage for the next set of awards. For the next set of awards, we have Mr. Anansh Prasad, the chair of HCC, to please come on stage to present the awards, along with Mayank Bajaj and Gaurav Vijpuri. Can you have a round of applause, please?
Very good afternoon to one and all present here, Dr. Naidu, principals, guests of honor, faculty advisors, organizers, and of course, dear delegates. It's really been a pleasure to be a part of PWSMUN 2017, right from September onwards when we got involved with this year's conference with the workshops, culminating in this year's MUN conference. It's been a fabulous exercise, and honestly, kudos to the entire school. What a beautiful campus, and more importantly, how beautifully it's utilized for this concept of the Model United Nations Conference. I think they really deserve a very, very big round of applause. Now, as far as the Historic Crisis Committee was concerned, very frankly, the HCC was conceptualized by students from PWS itself. It was an idea that came up in September, and three of the individuals are right here, Kanishk, Varun and Mayank. They were insistent on trying to come up with something even more innovative, something out of the box. Now, there are definitely a lot of historic crises committees that take place, but with respect to the HCC that took place here, which was discussing the entire Indo-Bangladesh issue of 1971. It was actually, Varun is requesting me to, he wants to share some of his own experiences. So I'm just going to keep it short with respect to this. It was a very innovative concept, and I really do believe that Mayank and Varun have been able to do justice to it. This was 2 committees as such, 2 subcommittees, but the awards are going to be declared together for both committees. So there's one set of awards for the HCC in general for both Pakistan and India. I will hand the mic over to both Varun and Mayank to take it forward from here on.
Thank you, sir. Guys, can I please request HCC Pakistan as well as HCC India to please stand up? Thank you, delegates. There is something that Mayank and I would like to share along with sir. So if you could just wait for a second.
Delegates, you may please stand. HCC India and HCC Pakistan, you may please stand, delegates. Do we know what we have done? We changed history.
Alright, thank you, delegates. This is because after a long time, after so much of discussion that we have had in our committees, we were told that it has never happened before that Pakistan and India came down for peace, but this time in Pathways MBA 2017, we made it come true. And both of us are very proud of all the delegates who participated in it.
And changing history is another thing, but bringing two nations down to peace, who has just talked about surrenders most of the time, is a huge thing. And as the chair of HCC Pakistan and as the chair of HCC India, we were very happy to see that our generation does not think of war, but wants to solve every matter with peace.
It was actually difficult to ask them to go for war because they just never wanted to do war at all. So we'll start by awards for HCC India. As I take names, can you please come on the dais? So the special mention goes to Defense Minister of India. High commendation goes to Lieutenant General J.S. Arora.
My name is Raghav and I'm from the Doon School.
These are the set of awards for HCC Pakistan. I'll start with special mention. Air Marshal Abdul Rahim Khan.
From PWSMUN.
The high commendation goes to Chief of Army General A.H. Khan.
Alright, delegates, we have two best delegates, one from HCC.
My name is Adiraj and I'm from the Sri Ram School also.
My apologies. Now, as far as the best delegate is concerned, there were two candidates who went through another round of debates separately in order to decide whether the best delegate would be from HCC India or HCC Pakistan, and asked both of them to rise firstly. Any guesses about who from HCC India? It's SN Kohli. SN Kohli, delegate SN Kohli. And best delegate from HCC Pakistan is a newly elected President of Pakistan in this committee, Nurul Amin. Okay, delegates, may I please request both of you to come to stage and then we will announce the overall best delegate for the HCC. So there was an additional round of debating which took place with the press corps also asking a range of different questions.
Go back.
And subsequent to this, we came to the decision that the best delegate for the HCC at PWSMUN 2017 is Nurul Amin. A big round of applause, please.
From PWSMUN.
Assembly, you please share your name with the rest of the songs gathering too.
I'm here from PWSMUN.
Thank you so much. I would also like to take this opportunity to announce the winners for the country-specific committee recaps or the CSCR papers from each committee. Very quickly, this was of course a new concept introduced at PWSMUN in 2017. Each of you delegates, except for those from the HCC, took the opportunity this morning for about 45 minutes to write down these papers, and we got an opportunity to judge them based on the criteria. And we just have a verbal mention for the winners of the CSCR papers from each committee. I just request you all to rise wherever you are seated. We shall start off with the United Nations Human Rights Council. It is the delegate of Bolivia. A big round of applause for the delegate of Bolivia, please. Delegate of Bolivia, please rise. Okay. From the United Nations General Assembly, it's the delegate of Jordan. Delegate of Jordan. From the ECOSOC, it's the delegate of Greece. From the IAEA, it's the delegate of Germany. From the AIPPM, it was actually a delegation-specific committee recap. It's Rahul Gandhi. From the DISEC, it's Iraq. Delegate of Iraq, yes. And finally, from the United Nations Security Council, it's the delegate of the United Kingdom. Thank you so much, well done, and I wish all of you the very best, and we'd like to thank PWSMUN 2017 for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. I will now request Ms. Akruti Agarwal, the chair of UNGA, to please come up on stage. Sorry, delegates. Do we have Nupur Kaura amongst us? Nupur Kaura? Your parents are outside, they're waiting for you. Can you please move? Yes. Thank you, delegate.
Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you, everyone. Apologies for my voice. The enjoyment and energy of 3 days at Pathways MUN has rendered me speechless, quite literally. So I am not going to talk and discuss much about my committee, just that my committee was the largest committee, and is the UNGA is the largest committee of UN, and over here as well, I had the largest number of delegates in my committee, most of them being the first time runners. So can we please have a huge round of applause for UNGA. Moving directly to verbal mentions, all of them whom I'm mentioning right now, please stand up. Delegate of Bahrain, Delegate of India, Delegate of Bahrain, Delegate of Poland, Delegate of Russia, Delegate of Jordan, Delegate of Belarus, Delegate of Bolivia, Delegate of Netherlands. We were a committee of 16 teams, so I'm sure 7 to 8 verbal mentions were very well required. Thank you, delegates. Now moving on to special mentions. We have 2 special mentions. Delegate of China,
My name is Anuja Singh and I'm from the Doom School.
Delegate of USA,
I'm Simar from the Lawrence School, Sanan.
We have two high commendations. Delegate of Afghanistan,
My name is Kushabir Kaur and I'm from the Duke School.
Delegate of Australia, any guesses for the best delegate? Yes. Delegate of Uganda.
From Delhi College.
Lastly, I would like to thank my Vice Chair, Rapidaro, and especially my logistics team member, Kavya, for running around this huge committee and passing on chips and getting warm water for me while my throat was down. Thank you everyone. Thank you, PWSMUN.
Thank you, ma'am. I will now request Mr. Raj Kohl to come up on stage and give away the awards for the UNS.
Alright. Firstly, delegates, I must say that after so many MUNs and after so many security councils, I must say that this was the most considerate security council of all times, wherein the Russian delegation did not veto because he did not want to spoil the enthusiasm of a paper that was being passed. China vetoed against censorship, media censorship and surveillance, and Pakistan, in an activity that was conducted, stated that it's alright if you do not bomb us because there is very little left to bomb. Now, this could be considered humorous. But at the same time, we also had a crisis situation wherein the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump, was abducted, and there was a ransom that was required which consisted of nuclear warheads as well. Though all of this seems admissible, I must say that the solutions that were procured by the Security Council were thought by maturity, were thought by forward thinking, and something which was a lot more progressive than usual line of thought. The reason being that in the midst of a committee I received a question which honestly perplexed me as well, which was, since we are the model United Nations, why do we stick to foreign policies in the first place? Why not make this an ideal world, actually let down our guard and make the world a better place? It honestly got me to thought as well. And this is what the Security Council comprised of. It comprised of forward-thinking delegates who really wanted to leave a dent in the world, who really wanted to change the world for a better, and exercising diplomacy, tact and spontaneity was something that delegates of only the highest caliber could execute. And for that reason, I would really like to applaud, a huge round of applause rather, for the delegates of the Security Council. So first, I'd like to have a bunch of verbal mentions. Delegates, please rise in your seats. Delegates of Russia, please have a round of applause. Delegate of Russia, yes. Delegate of the, hang on, yes. Delegate of the United States of America. Delegate of France. And delegate of Greece. All these delegates have also performed very well. It was really difficult to select any candidate for any award for that matter because the competition was that close. All these delegates have also displayed great sense of diplomacy. They have had some phenomenal speeches and they have also abided by their foreign policy to the fullest extent. So I thank you all delegates. Now we shall progress to the Special Mention Award. The Special Mention Award goes to the delegate of the European Union. Delegate of EU, yes. The delegate was unwell for an entire session of the MUN, but still picked up considerably well. Yes. Thank you, delegate. The next award, the High Commendation Award, goes to the delegate of the United Kingdom. And finally, any guesses for the best delegate? Also voted as the most annoying delegate, the best delegate award goes to the delegate of Spain.
From Pathways Around Me.
Thank you very good. Finally, I would also like to thank the organizing committee for constantly assisting in the flurry of chits and motions and also for supplying water at all points of time. You see, the Security Council was conducted in a separate building. It was not easy for the logistics members to keep a tally of what's happening in the other buildings. Thereby, a huge round of applause for the organizing committee. Finally, Anav Singh and Gauri Gaur, could you please rise? The Vice Chair and the Rapporteur of my committee, pretty much the lifeline of this committee. I thank you profusely for all the help you've bestowed upon us. Thank you, Pathways. This has been an incredible experience.
Thank you, sir. I will now request Ms. Manjula Shenoy and Mr. Dr. Padma Naidu to please take the seats. I will request the guests of honor to please remain on stage. We would like to invite, yes, it isn't funny, guys. We would like to invite Ms. Lopa Mudra and Ms. Rohini Norge on stage, please. May I now request Mr. Munib Reyes, the chair of AIPPM, to please come up on stage for the next set of awards. Can we have a round of applause, please, delegates?
Alright, good afternoon to everybody over here, dignitaries, delegates, the rest of the executive board members. I think I would want to begin with thanking my vice chair and my rapporteur. Can you please stand up, Anvesh and Anmol? A huge round of applause to these guys. I would not have been able to focus on council and run council without their continuous support and their excellent work. And the reason why that is because I had Sonia Gandhi, Dr. Manmohan Singh, Rahul Gandhi on one side, and I had Prime Minister Modi, Rajnath Singh and his cabinet on the other. And of course, everybody remembers Piyush Goyal. So, and not to forget Mamata Banerjee. So yes. But on a more serious note, this was one of the most interesting councils that I have chaired. The delegates displayed maturity that one would hope would be displayed by our leaders in the real world. And without much further ado, I would like to go ahead with the awards.
First of all, I would like to give the verbal mention, and in no particular order. Delegates, please stand up wherever you are. Ms. Mamta Banerjee, who ironically is on this term. Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, huge round of applause, please. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who is with us on stage. Mr. Kejriwal, would you like to cough, the signature cough? Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, and of course, most eloquent Mr. Tharoor. Moving on to the special mentions, the first one, we have two. The first one goes to Rahul Gandhi. Yes, delegate, it's you. The point to note is delegate was in character throughout council. He was confused, dazed when he was not speaking.
Zara Bharti in the Doon School.
Thank you. The next one goes to Mr. Piyush Goyal. Mr. Goyal, while advocating peace throughout, at the very end of the fag end decided no, peace is boring, and then he called for riots.
Hello everyone, my name is Divyansh Agarwal and I am from Vela Boys in Doon.
The high commendation goes to a delegate who was very annoying, to be very honest. Yet he was a cabinet minister, so the chair also had to keep that in mind. Can we have Mr. Rajnath Singh on the stage, please?
Chandan Samal from Pathways Aradli.
Any guesses for best up? Yes, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh was fiercely outspoken in our council, something we all would hope would happen in the real world too.
From Lancers International.
Lastly, I would like to thank Kanish and all the organizers for the wonderful work that they've done. They put up a great show, everything ran extremely smoothly and there were no fires. So I believe that's always a good thing. I would lastly like to thank PWSMUN, the school, for their hospitality. It was a great experience being the chair over here and I look forward to coming back next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I will now request Mr. Nabil Faki, the chair of EcoSoc, to please come on stage for the next set of awards. Can we have a round of applause, everybody?
All right, a very good afternoon to everyone. Members of the EcoSoc, delegates of the EcoSoc, please rise. And we have a huge round of applause for the So, this has been a wonderful committee, and I would like to thank my vice chair and my rapporteur, Samay and Siddharth, for their help throughout the committee, without which this would not have been possible. Samay and Siddharth, can you please rise? We have Samay and Siddharth. Okay, Samay is like it. Alright, thank you. Can we have a round of applause for Samay? And our organizing committee member, his name is Adnan. Now he's not supposed to be entertaining, but he kept entertaining the committee throughout the 3 days. Can we have a round of applause for Adnan? Alright, thank you. So this was a wonderful committee, and it's been a pleasure for me to chair such a committee, which Surprisingly, the delegates did not have much experience, but the intellectual depth and maturity of the arguments was something that left me like really perplexed. So, not wasting much time, I will first call for the verbal mentions. Delegates whose names are mentioned, please rise. Delegate of India. Delegate of Syria. Delegate of Hungary. Delegate of France. And Delegate of South Africa. Now, moving on to the awards. The special mention goes to the Delegate of Saudi Arabia.
I'm Kaushal Kinkar from PWSMUN Arabli.
The high commendation goes to Vishwakrit Charadia, which is the delegate of Greece.
I'm Vishwakrit Charadia and I'm from Pathway School, Gurgaon.
Do we have any guesses for the best delegate? Right, that's right. So the delegate of Hong Kong, Mr. Shivan Diwan.
As you heard, I'm Shivan Diwan from the Doon School.
I'd like to thank the management of the school and PWSMUN for having us here and for the great hospitality. Moreover, I'd like to thank one more person, Mr. Aman Lee, who helped us throughout committee for everything that we needed. So thank you, Mr. Aman Lee, and thank you, PWSMUN.
Thank you, sir. I will now request Ms. Lopa Mudra and Ms. Oye.
So, I want to share that I'm very grateful to you for caring so much about the future of our planet, of our people, and for caring enough to really want to even get into the very difficult kind of conversations and negotiations and the way you're doing that with bringing this fresh energy. It's very inspiring. So thank you for being here, for putting this effort in, because I know that your inspiration is to do good, and maybe in the future you will be able to, as was said, change history. Change the future, same thing. Our teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh. By the way, I want to share that this is my second time in the Pathway School. I was here back in 2008, so I'm very happy to be back. And I was also at the Doon School, so some of you there, and recently we've just been at a retreat in Welham Boys School. And so it's lovely to see people from these schools that I know, and want to share, that our teacher would share that if we want to have peace and happiness and security in our own country, then that very much relies on providing conditions for peace and security in the other countries, the other people. So it is to say that peace and happiness is not an individual matter. And in the world that we live, we cannot afford to leave any country, any people behind. We need to find a way to take care of each other in the way that you've been finding these ways in this conference. So I also will share something of an inspiring story. I had the privilege to have a good conversation with Christiana Figueres. I think you maybe know she headed the COP21, bringing the culmination of the Paris agreements on climate change just last year, and she shared with me her 6-year from the kind of disaster of the Copenhagen 2010 up until the 2016 Paris agreements. She shared how she was managed to get consensus among all of these different countries to come to this momentous agreement that was achieved. And one of the 3 things that she shared with me that I'll share with you is, one is not to be realistic. Because to be realistic, if she was to listen to what everybody was saying, including her own inner voice of despair, it was, give up, it's impossible. It's not realistic to achieve this. And so she chose not to listen to that voice. And she said, actually, to be realistic within that frame of reference is not realistic because it means disaster. So she also had her eye on the prize, and her eye on the prize was, she pictured 7 generations back. She had 7 generations forward, rather, to imagine children, generations ahead, and what they will inherit. And so to know that the work we're doing is for us, for our children, and many generations to come. And so with that sense of importance, she had that kept going. And the other thing to share is that it was not by reasoning alone that you can achieve the negotiation, that you can achieve the agreements. It's by listening to the other side and understanding them. And I think one of the things that you've been doing is putting yourself